this in-between world could be associated with black holes because the fabric of space-time breaks down. How do you access the extreme in-between world? You have to get there through extreme conditions. Like you need a particle accelerator maybe.
Let's say we're two holons. If we meet with each other, a third thing emerges. That happens when there's any interaction. And Holonic metadynamics
That's what that means?
Yeah, Holonic metadynamics is the study of the effects of that third thing. And that's when we also lead into what I call plasma intelligence.
All right, we are
better.
filled with love and positive intentions. Okay, hey, let's start.
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, so what were we just talking about?
Yes. So you were just saying to me before we decided to record this that you feel like there's science and then there's what we're attempting to do. So speak on that and let's take it on a roll.
Yeah. Okay, this is the thing because there's a difference between knowing what the science is and being wrong within it and intentionally diverting from that in pursuit of other truths that cannot be described by the language that already exists is kind of what's coming through, because sometimes it's like new terminology for things and not everything fits in the same framework. So, but yeah, I was like, we were talking about a frustration of people, like, of just sometimes it feels like I'm very misunderstood about it because people don't really understand that I'm going in a different direction. And then it's like almost like it's that I'm stupid for that I don't understand. But the truth is I understand what exists and then I'm intentionally doing something else. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, we have one microphone, guys. So yes, when Alyssa told me this, I really related to her because the first thing people will message me the logicals, I call them, will message me. Yes, the logicals or the mind people, is that, oh, well, you don't know what plasma is. Like plasma is ionized gas. And I'm like, yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
like you're out here talking about it and writing a book about it because you've never Googled it. Yeah, like you don't know.
Like, yes, I know. I studied that, and I've studied a lot of math and science. And then, she's a PhD, so we know what science is, and I know what mathematics is. And guess what? This is not that. So with my study of plasma and consciousness, and with her study, but I'll let her speak for herself, my study is an expanded version of plasma. It is beyond. This is science on the little, leg of plasma, and then we expand it and zoom out. And I'm explaining something that is being measured in science, but is also not measurable in its metaphysicalness. And it's not the metaphysics in philosophy where it's materialist. This is just, the potential and also the the veiled reality. It is the uncreated, but it also is created. But yeah, it's like above and below our reality and part of our reality. But I think that right now we cannot measure it yet. So it's not just science.
I need to draw our attention. All right, what's coming in is like talking about like dark matter and dark energy, and just how the whole field of being able to detect things is an ongoing field. And so when you're talking about like plasma consciousness, or you can't talk about consciousness without implying something that is like free will and has its own mind and like is unpredictable. And whenever you're talking about something that's unpredictable, like you're not going to be able to parameterize it in numbers usually.
Yes.
At first, at least.
Yes.
I guess. Yeah. And but it's just like the pursuit of learning how to detect things or parameterize them is so active in like dark matter and dark energy, because like dark matter detections are like when I did an interview at Bucknell, and one of the astrophysicists there worked on dark matter, like observational detections of dark matter. Imagine it's like going through everything all the time, and it's like putting out a massive butterfly net and being like, and waiting a long period of time and being like, did we get anything in there? And so the whole idea of how ongoing it is to be like detecting things that are really elusive.
Yes. I kind of say the same thing, and I agree with you. And I thought that was brilliant, where it's not something right away you can explain with mathematics. I think material. I think the mathematics does a great job at explaining the material, but we are talking.
Material.
Yes. And we are talking about the immaterial. So I kind of told Alyssa, I envision her creating a whole new mathematics. And my friend Jason Paget has done this too with his kind of like holographic trigonometry and calculus. But something even beyond that I'm seeing, and I don't think it's created yet, but I foresee a kind of like systems. It's not even going to be called math, but a kind of like systems theory meets measuring effects, but you can't put your finger on it because it's always affected by consciousness and in flux. So it's going to be like a flux kind of math system feedback. And I don't know it yet, but it's coming out.
When you say that, I'm almost like envisioning another form of calculus, like with an extra like dimension in it, or like an extra like vibration in it.
Yeah.
Like okay, calculus is already multi-dimensional and everything. But anyway, calculus is on the mind recently because of the physics class that I'm teaching is like calc. And so I've had to translate what calculus is in words a lot lately. Yeah. And then I was also talking about like how I was talking about Newton this week and like teaching and how he invented calculus. And it's like, how do you invent calculus? How does that even happen?
That's what we're doing now. It's like, how do you invent what we're trying to say? It's about farting around until you think, or practicing magic like Isaac Newton did. And we just maybe do both of those things in our own ways. Plasma magic for me. But I'm curious. I would love to know more about calculus because maybe you can help give a foundation to what I'm saying, because I don't study as much of you as, even though I love math right now, I'm not in the scholastic or school. So yeah, tell me more, and then I would like to build off that for what I'm envisioning in my mind, and then we'll introduce ourselves because we haven't done that properly, but I don't really care.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. The whole point of So the whole point of calculus in the way that like it applies to electromagnetism, which, hey, this is relevant because so I'm teaching, I teach college university physics, and so I'm teaching about applying calculus to electric field problems and like getting the electric fields of like charge distributions. And I'm saying to people like what calculus does is that it is a mathematical shortcut in summing up an infinite amount of things. And so it's like you can do the math. I tell them like the reason we use calc in this problem is because we can calculate the like contribution from one single charge, but then if you had 1,000 charges in a line, would you want to calculate every single one of them? And then that's why we use the calculus, because what we're actually doing is summing up. So you're summing over the whole object, but you're summing over it, but you're breaking it up into infinitesimal pieces first. Oh. Or like you are, but then, okay, let me try. Like, cause that's, so then when you're integrating over the terminologies, you're integrating over a piece of the whole, but the piece is like an infinitesimal. Of the whole. Yes. And it's like represented by a differential with like D in front of it, which we in electromagnetism we use like dq, piece of a charge.
It's all measurable, right? The infinitesimal.
It is, yes. Well, it is measurable with like a charge density. Okay. So like it has a linear charge density, so it has like a total amount of charge, total length or something. So there's a number that can be applied to like its charge density. Okay. But the calc is the shortcut in summing everything up.
Sorry, I'm getting an idea in my head.
No, you're good. So I'm trying to translate what the math is doing in words to them when I'm teaching it.
So my thought would be, let's say what I call this fourth dimensional plasma space. You could call it the veiled reality, the potentia. It's the realm where there are stellations, and she can go into more her theories on time. But in this veiled reality, or this space that cannot be measured right now, I wonder if there would be a way to apply calculus, the framework of calculus, to the immeasurable. And that's what we have no idea how to do right now. But I think if I was to study it more, or maybe it's something completely different, but I don't know. But anyway, I'll stop there at that. But my point is, what we speak about is not science, it's not philosophy, but it also is. We are literally in the realm of paradox, where we're talking about something that can be siphoned into anything. We're actually literally, what we're doing is calculus. We're literally actually doing philosophical, metaphysical calculus of, for me, it's plasma, and for her, it's time. But we know that we're almost cracking calculus back open. We're cracking, for me, plasma back open, and for her, time back open, and seeing what is in there.
Geometry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Last night, I Googled the question, is geometry the language of the universe? And it's one of the most profound questions that you can ask, because I was seeing my stellations in my mind. And it's that's how I see the fundamental structure of things broken down into that fractaled out symmetry. There is something with symmetry to it. But yeah, that is it at its core, the symmetry. But I just think that the geometry is the bridge between
the material and the immaterial.
Yeah.
I actually would agree. And it's funny because the real immaterial, what some mystics would call the true reality, I call that fifth dimensional plasma, because I just see everything in my framework of plasma, right? You can also call it heaven, or the realm of ideas, or the realm of perfect forms in Plato, whatever it's called, quintessence. But there seems to be this middle realm, and I think that's what you might be working in with the time and how to jump around. It's the realm of where there is still time, and it's past, present, and future all there. And then there's a realm above that as well. So I don't know where I was going with that, but I think the realm right now we're speaking of, at least I'm speaking of, is this middle layer. And it feels like it is geometric. I call it plasma consciousness synergy, and I want to know more about what you think. And it's there's ways where we can learn to work with it to almost catapult into this other reality that's outside of time, where we can really start to see cool stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think the secret is in.
Yeah, I definitely see it like that too, with the stellations and the geometric shape. It's all good. Hi, honey.
My
it's
dog
okay.
wants our attention.
It's
no,
okay. It's okay.
Don't mess up our flow.
So I see it too as something in between. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly what it's in between, but it's still it's in between in the sense that it's an unfold. Mm-hmm. It's an unfolding. Mm-hmm. So something has to be unfolded to reveal what is in between. But that's at least from my current understanding, which I always think can stand to be updated. There could 100% be something the way that I understand it right now that I end up changing my mind about.
Yeah. I always change my mind.
Yeah, so the way that I'm currently understanding it, and I hope I will evolve. I hope that maybe there's some things that I'm not right about in the way that I'm currently thinking. Imagine how much a few years or something can, and more research or more ideas can change your your understanding of something. Yeah. So, but I do always see it as these fractal blossom out shapes building off of one another in a network or a system or something like that. And I do feel it to be in between somewhere, but it's the shapes. Okay, it's kind of what we were saying before. I opened up to a page in your book, by the way. Your book.
My book, A New Force,
by the way.
September 9. Okay, go ahead. It's
your book, by the way. Yes, that was geodesics, and but it was the picture was oh my God, it's really raining out there. I like it. I feel like it's making us more psychic. And so it's okay, honey. So it was a bunch of points. It was a field of points, And the way that I see the stellation stuff is that the points are already there, but the spacing or the relation between each sets of points. Oh yeah.
That is a geodesic or geodesic. Geodesic. Okay, and these are the
That's
points.
how I've heard
and
it.
That, from just so you guys know, this is kind of like the path of least resistance. It's the quickest the line can get from in a circle from point A to point B.
Oh, I've been really called to like research this lately, the geodesic, because I've been making all these videos about the path of least resistance and like nature's like minimization of energy and everything. And that's like the whole reason that things travel along the stellated paths, because it minimizes energy. Yeah. Yes. And so the points always exist. The stellation geometry is the baked in network in which everything travels along, and then it's the transportation method, it's the shape to get in between, but it's very precise. So but then those points always have a significance. Well, though it's like those points in that geodesic picture that you just held up, those points are interconnected by a geometric shape.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love. Oh,
those points are interconnected already by that shape.
By some other dimensional shape, correct?
Yes.
Like beyond a third dimensional shape.
Yeah.
Like maybe a fifth dimensional shape. The veiled reality. I'm only saying veiled reality because a physicist I know, his name is Timothy E. Eastman, calls it the veiled reality. So I'm just, bringing in a little bit of science for that. And I met him at a plasma conference, and I look up to him. But no, the path of least resistance. So in my book, and this is why I love it, because we have different angles of things. So because I don't study the shapes as much and stuff, my whole angle is like, okay, this is why it's so cool when you come together with people, guys. It doesn't have to always be about competition. It's about working together. Because so your theory, I think one day we'll maybe combine these things. My theory is, okay, consciousness travels the path of least resistance. We're programmed to travel the path of least resistance. But what if right now, for instance, my path of least resistance in my fear state that I'm in is to not take risk? If I can reprogram my mind that risk is safe and risk actually equals something else, this is just a little example, I can have a new easy path of least resistance. So I think we have sometimes override our survival consciousness to travel into new realms, and this is just in the third dimension. So when we go in the fourth dimension, I wonder how we can learn to harmonize our consciousness with what I think plasma makes up this realm she's talking about. So how to harmonize our consciousness with this realm to travel to these different geodesics, which maybe they have, different beings on all of them. Maybe they're different loved ones who've passed away. Like, we don't know that yet, but maybe it's different timelines. And I want to see what Dana's doing in timeline 3060. And she learned how to bake an apple pie better than me. So I can get that information, bring it back here. And I'm just traveling my consciousness. Maybe this is physical travel. But I'm curious what you're thinking about all of this.
Well, okay, what came to mind was just thinking about how people don't, I guess, yeah, this is pretty relevant to what you were just saying, because it's like it's just funny how many people can't conceptualize the fact that time could exist in more than one dimension. And it's like, okay, then I guess you probably haven't had any spiritual awareness or experiences at all, and that sounds judgmental, which is not. It's just they're
just scared.
It's just
they don't get it.
If I guess what I'm saying is anyone that feels spiritually connected to something knows that it's everything, so much exists outside of time and linear time. And so I guess the idea of people not being there's no evidence that time exists in multiple dimensions. And it's I don't know, once you feel that it does, or once you feel these overlapping memories, or this just, that's the thing. It's a connection point along some branch of, and I guess that's sort of what I see as the stellations or something. It's some connection point in a different realm between these points in time that appear to be like linked. And so what I mean by that is like relative parts of cycles that are highlighted, like when you feel some amplification of like your health energy or something at a certain point in time, and then you kind of piece something together that you think you had like a past life where like something else activated at the same time.
Yes.
Or like
burn at the stake for your ideas.
Right, so exactly. So right, so like the parallel, I guess what I'm talking about is like the moments that you know feel connected in time, even though they're not connected linearly.
Yes.
But you know that these different moments like share something.
Sure.
And that's what it is. It's that like
connects the two stellations.
Right, exactly. It's like there's some, that's almost sort of what I'm seeing, I guess, maybe in this the idea of the stellations, or what I mean by like a hidden geometric connection. That's what I mean. It's like there's another system connecting those moments, where to us, I guess, because the best that we can do with some higher awareness, even though we do experience time in one dimension, is having just some deeper knowing that these different moments or like relative similar positions are connected in some way. We just don't have the language to describe how they're connected.
Wait, so you're literally mapping like the dream world. Like you're not just mapping the dream world, you're mapping the world of timelines. You're like the OA. But because you're making me think though, and this is just for anyone who has been a troll and commented on her stuff, which is not that many people, but just because I'm defensive, the people that think that time is linear, I would ask you to question, why when you dream does time go faster? Why when you're bored does time go slower? Why when you're in love does time feel fizzy? Why when you get in a car accident does time slow down? How do you explain how one day you're really present and time goes slow but expands, but then another day when you're not present, the whole day you're on autopilot and the day just flies by? Like, how else do you explain? I mean, it's actually quite silly. I won't say stupid, but quite silly and ignorant to think time is in one dimension. I mean, that makes no... Time is linked with consciousness in my study, so I'm sure you agree with that. And consciousness is obviously multidimensional, which is why when we dream, we just wake up and all of a sudden the dream's done, right? Or why we can have like 5 different lives in a dream. And I would think, I wonder in dreams, is it a mix of us? I'm curious what you think, and I don't know this, I'm asking this, like, is dreams us going to other timelines in these stellations, or are dreams our own plasma consciousness interfacing with those other timelines and showing us things that we need to learn? Like, I'm curious, what you think about.
I think
dreams connect to your stellations.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. I think that dreams are they're a little different, but I think the overlap is in like astral traveling, because there's got to be something real to like sending your consciousness elsewhere, and that is like also remote observing and stuff like that. So actually I've been really drawn to remote observing, and I've kind of been wanting to make a video about it lately. But so I think that dreams
sorry, my dog
just emerged out
from the Plato's cave of her bed.
Such a precious moment.
I'm sorry.
No, that was funny. Okay. I think that our dreams are an internal, that's like it's an inside job. Our dreams are like, right. That's what I picture. That's why our dreams are an inside job. So they are our own, like
our own psyche, our own plasma bubble interfacing with outside things.
Yes. Yeah. They are our own, like, they're an example of like the self-sustaining human system. Like the feedback loop, the feedback process. It's like, okay, like human, have emotions, like have the dream, process emotions, like rinse, repeat. It's like the recycling of life. The toroidal flow is how I'm seeing it too. It's part of, like, I feel like dreams are part of our maintenance
Yes, what I call it is our
There.
personal plasma consciousness synergy. So, like, if you picture your biofield or your bioplasma and a torus around you,
Yeah.
and how it's always feedbacking with the outer reality,
Mhm.
I feel like when we're asleep, all of a sudden those cilia, those consciousness, turn inwards, and now we're feedbacking with our inner reality, which creates dreams.
Yes.
Yeah, and
I
the
can see
4D
that.
plasma. So, like, I feel like it's the same plasma and material that makes these other timelines, but it's turned inward. So it's not the other timelines, but it's like the same material. So there could be some crossover, but you're not actually visiting and living out the other timeline in your dream. I think, like you said, it's your own personal work through, your personal mythology.
Right.
And then astral projection, something different when you do face your consciousness out into that the dark materials, and you visit those stellations. I at least think that.
Yeah, I like the visual of the inward and outward things. I think that there is still, at the same time, you are like closer to your soul when you're dreaming. So it's like you probably still can traverse the dimensions and traverse like the different planes of existence.
And lucid dreaming, which is different.
Oh, right, exactly. And lucid dreaming, and then like, you know, astral traveling or intentionally sending your consciousness somewhere. But I do think from one perspective, it's like it's traveling along the, you know, the threads, the strings of the universe. Like you're going through that system potentially, but yeah, it's
astral
about
travel or remembering timelines, or both.
Astral travel.
Okay.
I think dreams as the movie that we play ourselves are different than like, and I think that's why you can tell when you have a dream that is you know, for example, a visitation from like a loved one or something. Those dreams, right? I feel like it's safe to say that there's like two types of dreams. I don't know, like the ones that feel visceral and feel like visitations and feel like you were in another dimension, and then the ones that are your body like recycling.
Yes, I've had. So I'll say some, because it's hard to put stuff in a box, right? So I'll just say different experiences I've had, because I agree with you. I remember still to this day, and this is kind of a weird story and no one's going to believe it, but I was like 19. I was sleeping at my friend Amanda's house. I was like a partier in New York, and I had a dream that I went to this like magical island, kind of like in the movie Contact at the end. It was like a beach, and I woke up more tan. And I remember like being so free. I'm a dream tan. I know. It was really weird, but I really knew I went somewhere. And obviously since then I have this all the time where I go to other worlds. Mostly I actually go to other worlds when I'm awake in meditation, or just when I want to, like, you know, close my eyes and visit somewhere, because, you know, I just can do that. And I'm sure a lot of you listening probably can and relate to this. And then I'll have dreams which are like super scary and like obviously anxiety dreams, so I'm working stuff out. And then I'll have like a third type of dream to where I do feel like I'm remote viewing another timeline. So like that's what I'm saying, like dreams, yes, are inward, but like I think you brought up a great point of nuance. You can lucid dream, which is some kind of thing. Then there's like, the visitations from, you know, a family who's passed. And then there also is maybe viewing other timelines. So it's like, oh my God, what a world.
Yeah.
What a world of stellations.
Yeah, definitely. And
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can you go more into the stellations and how the unfolding, and then there's like a bigger shape in that? Because I want to think more on that. Can you explain, just for people who haven't known your stuff yet?
Oh yeah. Should we introduce ourselves, or
let's introduce ourselves?
30 minutes in.
If people are watching this, they already know us anyway.
Yes.
Sure. But your people don't know me as much, and my people might not know you. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Introduction.
Okay. My name is Alyssa Sokol, and I'm an astrophysicist. I have my PhD. So I did my undergrad at Colgate in New York and my grad school at UMass Amherst in Massachusetts. And I'm from New York, and I'm 32, and I am now teaching at UCF. I'm a professor, and I teach physics and astronomy. Oh, and my PhD research was in supermassive black holes and galaxy evolution. So my PhD research was about like the two different astrophysical processes of a galaxy forming stars throughout its disk, and the black hole activity. Oh yeah, I feel like this is going to segue us into talking about black holes a little bit. But then the black hole activity, and specifically how black holes grow mass through accretion and then going through this active phase called active galactic nuclei. I'm guest lecturing 2 classes next week, actually, at UCF for the galaxies and cosmology class, and the topic is active galactic nuclei. So I got to prep those lectures tomorrow, and yeah, I'm really excited because I love talking about my shit. Yeah. What do you think?
I was gonna say I'm definitely gonna ask you about black holes.
Yeah. So when the black holes at the centers of other galaxies are active, they are the most powerful objects in the whole universe. When they're like actively accreting, and then there's a lot of energy around them, they get these really hot accretion disks, and then they get like a dusty torus.
Dusty plasma.
A torus shape of dust forms around the black hole, and that is actually what I specifically studied the most in my thesis.
I have a theory that a black hole's a torus, and I didn't know it was. So great that's not my theory.
So, yeah, wait, that you thought the black hole was?
I have a theory that a black hole is a 5th dimensional object, but it shows up here, and that we only see a certain dimensional side of it, or whatever. But I think it's just like one side of a torus. It's like I think a black hole is a toroidal shape.
What were we talking about last time?
I don't know. We might have. I do not remember.
Okay.
But anyway, continue.
Yeah.
So basically, is a black hole almost literally just like everything else, like a plasma?
It's one component of it. So the torus is on the outside. So there's actually a lot of components that are possible for an active galactic, for an AGN, active galactic nucleus. So there's an accretion disk, which is like a disk of we can see it at like optical wavelengths, which means we would be able to see it with our eyes. It's basically heated up gas and dust that's like whizzing around the black hole, like on its way in, pretty much. Yeah. Stuff that like material that's on its way in, and then there's the dust torus around that. And then there's sometimes they have radio jets, sometimes they have collimated jets coming out.
Jets shooting out
plasma. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I Googled that.
Yeah, you would know that. I'm sure you've done enough research.
Plasma, I know that's
I'm sure you've researched like yeah, exactly.
Okay, sorry, continue.
No, you're fine. So they also have a bubble of X-ray gas around them, an X-ray corona, which X-ray is like one of the highest temperatures that you can have around in astronomical objects. Like supernova remnants produce X-rays, like X-rays really high energy. And yeah, so sometimes they'll have those collimated jets that emit in radio wavelengths, and the emission from the jets is actually non-thermal emission.
Is that like almost like cold plasma?
If
I was to say,
it is.
Or what is it?
Okay, it's called. Okay, so there's kind of like there's 2 types of radiation. It's funny. This is like kind of your classic like astrophysics grad class information. Like this was anyway. Yeah. This reminds me of like everything I learned in this one grad class. Funny. You know when you like remember when you learned it, whatever. So
I don't remember. I didn't go to college.
Never mind.
I went to the Akashic field college.
Okay. So there's non-thermal radiation and there's thermal radiation. Yes. Thermal radiation comes from different temperatures. So that is anything across the electromagnetic spectrum.
Yes, like the sun, correct?
Okay. Non-thermal so it basically comes from it changes with temperature. Non-thermal radiation happens through
infrared
synchrotron. So infrared would be thermal. Infrared is in the spectrum. Non-thermal radiation is called like Bremsstrahlung radiation or synchrotron radiation. And so it happens when electrons like speed up to relativistic speeds, and they spiral around like magnetic field lines. So there's synchrotron radiation happening in those jets that are coming out of black holes.
Plasma. I'm sorry to curse.
It is a different type of radiation. It's under a different category than your typical radiation. So, but it's caused by electrons being sped up at relativistic, meaning close to the speed of light, speeds, and then they spiral around magnetic field lines. And that's how that radiation happens. And so it follows a different temperature profile than thermal radiation.
That's so cool. Well, I have theories about black holes, and I think black holes are like Kali, the mythological goddess who creates and destroys. And I think black holes can create and destroy. I think they're actually doing both. I don't know anything about active versus non-active, so I have to ask you more about that. But I think that, our pupil is a black hole, and just like we have a soul and spirit inside, I think that black holes in space on the macrocosm level hold the fifth dimension, or this veiled reality, and that something is behind, within all of those. And then, I think that black holes are toroidal in shape, and I know the event horizon, most people think it's the light, but it's like dark, right? Something like that. I basically think that there's some, there's always, it's a feedback loop. I think there's always stuff going in the black hole and out, and I think it's actually like the universe learning about itself is through black holes. So that's just, and I think there's more than one way. I think the universe learns about itself through black holes, but also through the black hole of every pupil. Through the black hole. I think black holes are inside planets, which is a crazy thing to think. I think they're ever since I started meditating 5 years ago, I would drop.
Nassim has that idea, right?
Yes. And I kind of was upset about it because I was like, I hope I fucking said this before him, just so people know that I'm not like yoinking from him. But people can have the same ideas and not be copying from each other, which I've discussed. Yeah. But yeah, so in my journal a few years ago, I'm sorry, my dog is so annoying right now. Oh, okay. She probably needs to go to the bathroom. We'll finish this soon. In my diary a few years ago, I drew the planets, and then I drew these vortexes. Then I drew the vortexes going down to an ocean. And that basically, like, as above, so below, just like our inner solar plexus and inside can astral travel. Like, there's something to do with, like, faster than light travel or some kind of secrets inside the earth. So anyway, Danica, please stop. What do you think about black holes?
Yeah, okay, wait, I'm trying to remember what. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to remember what you were saying with the feedback they create.
Is there anything that you think you want to challenge about that I could think? Like, is there something I might be wrong about just because I haven't studied them like you have, that I can look at them differently?
No, like,
is there any truth that, well, I guess we do know already they put stuff out and put stuff in.
Well, this is the thing I was going to talk about. Actually, I remember what I wanted to say, or what ideas were coming to me when you were talking, is the black hole information paradox, and there's not a way to retrieve information. Right, exactly. The paradox is that information should always be preserved, and you should always be able to, like, retrieve information from a system is kind of the gist of it. And you can't retrieve information, you can't re-access its state. That's what they say. Right. Which is what we think, which obviously it's not really lost information. It's just we don't know how to get to where it is.
But where it is what we'll you're saying, by the way.
Yeah.
Just in that realm of
and so, right, exactly. And what my thoughts at the moment are kind of like, I wonder if information, once it goes through the black hole, it travels hypothetically through this, like, stellated geometry pathway until it gets to its next thing because of efficiency. But that also makes sense because in order for something to access that state of like it does need to be taken apart to be put back together on the other side.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No,
but
that resonates with me.
Yeah.
Well, I think that
it would make sense if you need a certain force for something, and then, right, like, it makes sense. It's not crazy that, it's an extreme condition. That's what we're talking about. How do you access the extreme in-between world? You have to get there through extreme conditions. Like, you need a particle accelerator, maybe, like, you know what I mean? Like, you need a machine
or emotions.
Yeah.
Or if we're talking about consciousness traveling. I think
yes. Okay. Yeah. I'm talking about different things. There's information. I'm sort of talking about information.
Yeah.
But
that links together because I think consciousness in the third dimension is a part of it is
so it makes so much sense that this in-between world could potentially be associated with black holes because this in-between world would live somewhere along wherever the fabric of space-time breaks down, which is at small scales, which is the extreme conditions. And this is kind of what I have been teaching myself about this year, because my interests are really specifically in like, where does everything break down? Back to the conversation we were having at the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm not stupid. I know what exists. I know what exists. Well, I'm still learning. I'm still learning more details about the theories that do exist.
Where's the breakdown? Because there's a song, and songs tell the truth, and there's a Frou Frou song from Garden State movie that there's beauty in the breakdown.
Yeah.
So that means that there's some fifth dimensional shit there.
It's at the smallest scales of space-time in the fabric of the universe. Like, there's gravity breaks down at the smallest scales, and we don't have a way to quantize this whole, if you've ever heard about the graviton, and it's this whole thing that like, kind of gravity is the fundamental force of the fabric of space-time if it's bent by gravity. So it's space-time linked and gravity, and if we don't have basically the gist of it is that it works at large scales. It works to describe solar systems and planets and large scale cosmology. But when you get down to small scales, it breaks down because, for instance, like it breaks down kind of like at Planck size scales, but also, once you get to black holes and you're talking about what they sometimes refer to as like infinitely curved space-time, or it's thought of as like almost a poked hole in space-time. It's like, that's where it's where things break down.
So information basically disappears in the very, very macro, which is a black hole, and if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, and then at the very, very micro, which is like quark gluon plasma or something, right? Or like, where is the...
I don't know, actually.
Where? Oh, okay. But you're saying there's a breakdown at very small levels, right? So whatever that is. And I because I look up plasma, I'm pretty sure, and I actually could be wrong, that like one of the smallest observed particles is like quark gluon like right after the black hole was...
Quarks are pretty small.
Quark gluon plasma came out of the black hole. And I'm sure there's way more stuff. I'm just saying in our visible reality as of now. But then if you're saying also, you're telling me that information breaks down then, and then it also is a paradox and breaks down for black holes, right? So we live in a torus, basically, and it's like both sides, the macro and micro information breaks down, but in the middle you're saying it doesn't.
Well, part of the reason that it breaks down is more so because...
I have an idea. Yeah.
It's more so because... I guess I'm just thinking of this like in real time. Like, I guess it's more so that we don't have a way to describe in as much detail like the matter of what's inside of the black hole, because like there's a radius associated with it and everything, but once it crosses the event horizon and it kind of just like becomes the mass. And so that's the whole paradox of black holes, that they're one way. And that's the whole thing of like, and also what you're saying, they're not creators, they're not destroyers, they could also be creators, or they are creators. And the paradox of it is the one-way information, which actually I was talking about this in my class this week too, which is because the real paradox of it comes from the fact that the mass and radius are such that the escape velocity is the speed of light. And so that's the whole thing. The definition, so Earth has an escape velocity of 11 kilometers per second. The escape velocity is the minimum speed that you would need to escape an object's gravitational pull. And so anytime rockets launch off, they have to exceed that speed to like escape the Earth's gravity. And the definition, the way that the math is set up, it's set up so that your escape velocity is dependent on the mass and radius of the body that you're standing on, and the escape velocity of a black hole is equal to the speed of light. And that's really the whole thing. That's why it's a one-way system, and that's why the only really theory going on right now of how they dissipate, and the whole thing about being able to gain access to the information is that there's like, once it's kind of in there, it's like irretrievable, and the only dissipation mechanism that we like have ideas about are Hawking radiation, which
So my theory, there's just a philosophy theory, you can move that if you want, is, so to me it would make sense because information, it's a full word, but if you break it down, it's in dash formation. So everything, and it's also in dash form. So everything that is in a form is here. obviously on the other side of black holes, there ain't any form. It's the potential, the world we're talking about. And that the smallest scales beyond measurement, it also is in potential or not a actual form or matter. I just love the play in words and stuff. So I would think that that all makes sense. And that I believe when information goes in a black hole, it is not lost. It's just not light anymore. So I actually think that information travels like we see the light going in, but I actually think the information goes back in, like how the universe learns about itself is, I don't know if it's a antiphoton, it's theoretical obviously, but it's something, it's like if light had something attaching to it and the in and the formation, and then like the formation part breaks off and then the in is still there. Does that make any sense? Like, I don't know where I'm going with this, but like if you think that light is form, and the in is the anti-light or an antiphoton, I think the in gets sucked into the black hole, goes in the black hole, and then the form stays on its fucking, sorry, I don't sound intelligent when I do that, accretion disk. Does that, I'm like being funny right now.
No, like
it's not provable, it's just a theory.
I was thinking, I was fixated on your information thing, and I was getting this visual of like the other half of the theoretical particle and of being like the trail behind, like left behind it as it's like moving.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it's still a symmetry thing,
Yeah.
but it's like okay, I'm seeing like
information in there though. It breaks off from the word, but the whole information still it actually stays here and goes in there. It's a paradox as well. And that's when we go into your stellation stuff, and it's somehow traveling in that little lovely land. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe your stuff has to do with antiphotons.
Yeah. Oh, you were talking about the folding, right? Okay, wait, before we move on, I don't know, that just popped into my mind, but I don't know if I necessarily have anything to say about it at the moment. But before we go on,
whatever. No, go with your flow.
Before we anything else about black holes that or whatever.
No, go with your flow.
Okay.
I jumped from. Okay. No, we should jump around.
All right. Okay, let me think.
I was just on a flow.
No, yeah, same. Okay, because you asked me about the folding before, right?
Yeah, I want to know more about it.
And you were saying, though, how it fits into, like, the bigger geometric picture.
The shape and the bigger shape and the bigger dimensional shape, maybe.
Yeah.
Inside. Like, if, once again, I love using elephants, but if you fit like a gelatinous elephant into a box and there's holes in the box everywhere and we're only seeing the weird skin that pokes out of the holes, but it's really a whole elephant inside. That's
so funny that you say that because there's, that's like an analogy that I learned doing research. Like, my PhD advisor, like, kind of always would use this analogy of when I, like, doing spectral, like SED, spectral energy distribution fitting. It's like you're trying, if like the whole truth is the elephant, you're touching like the tail, you're touching the front of the elephant. Yes. Okay, and now I can touch this side of the elephant, and then you have to like infer the whole elephant from there. And that's like what the research process is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I that's what I stole it from.
There we go. Okay, so it's a thing.
I've heard that thing. Yeah. Yes. I think it's called the black elephant. Unless I'm saying like pink or black. I don't know, but it's something with the elephant. But tell me more about just like that in general, and then let's go eat.
Yeah.
I'm working up on a half.
No, definitely, we've earned it. We're thinking deeply here.
I never introduced myself.
Oh yeah, you should
think about it while I introduce myself. Hi guys, my name is Dana Kipple.
It's a reverse podcast interview.
Oh my God, Benjamin Button.
We reversed it.
I'm not high, just so you know. Actually, I've never smoked pot since I was like 21. It makes me extremely paranoid, and as you can tell, it seems like I'm already on it 24/7. So my name is Dana Kipple. I am an author of the book A New Force, out September 9th. It's somewhere around here, selling on Amazon. But who I really am is just, I also call myself a polymath, and someone once was like, polymaths don't call themselves polymaths. And I'm like, yeah, but what a polymath is actually just means you're like a Renaissance person. You're just good at a lot of things. So I have no problem saying that. And I think, and I would describe you as that, and a lot of people as that. And I think it's an amazing thing to say about yourself. Yeah, it's okay. No, it's just they're probably interrupt their selves, and well, we all love some projection. But I do consider myself a polymath. I would actually just say a multidimensional thinker, a whimsical little fairy elf I am, and I study I'm on the frontier of studying metaphysical plasma and consciousness and awareness and the new human potential, which is, just the human potential movement. One of the first people who spoke about that was Jean Houston. And I think her name is Annalise Smitzman. But it's just, I study human potential as if we learn how to harmonize with plasma and consciousness. I call the fabric of our reality is made up of plasma. It is the clay you mold with your consciousness. If we can harmonize with it using our consciousness, my study is basically, what can we do? Where will human potential go? Does that mean we can have telepathy, psychokinesis? Does that mean we can, co-create our lives with more control when we're not victims to our lives? The answer is obviously a resounding yes, but I go into all that stuff in my book. And then in the future, I really hope I can, be someone, and it sounds like this, why me and Alyssa are friends. I wrote down my purpose for one of my purposes for this lives was to connect people to other worlds. And I really hope that I can, come up with either a framework or an actual thing that helps us connect with other beings and other dimensions. And if you hear that and that scares you, it's all about resonance. And beings can't just cross dimensional thresholds if they are like evil or in fear. This is only accessible to things that know compassion and empathy, because emotion, Alyssa kind of hinted at it, you can only travel these dilations when you're emotionally sound. Otherwise it'll cause plasma turbulence, and that's why we can't do fusion, and it's actually a built-in fail-safe so we don't kill ourselves, and I'm very against it. Sorry everyone. But I just love plasma and the benevolence of it, and I think there's so much to learn about how it's attached to mental health, and not just the technological side you can profit off of. It's like we've trapped the unicorn and we're killing her and sucking her dry as little vampiric humans. So anyway, I'm an advocate for plasma ethics, and I just love life, and that's me.
Yeah. And do you have like a name or like a summary for your theory, or like what your what is your description of it?
So, I have my quintessential, I can't even pronounce my own theory. Well, there's Holonic metadynamics. That is basically the study of anything that is a holon, which is literally anything. It's that everything is a hologram. And it's the study of when two holons, or literally anything, two objects, like me and her, for instance. Let's say we're two holons. If we meet with each other, a third thing emerges. That happens when there's any interaction. And Holonic metadynamics
That's what that means?
Yeah, and Holonic metadynamics.
I've had that visual so many times.
I'm sure you have. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and Holonic metadynamics is the study of the effects of that third thing. And that's when we also lead into what I call plasma intelligence. And plasma intelligence is that third thing, and it's how your consciousness kind of accesses that third thing and lets other beings of consciousness communicate with you through it, and like how to interface with reality in new ways that have to do with senses, not logic. That was a good way I just explained it, because I haven't really explained it that way before. And then my other study is, however I say it, I don't know, but it's like quintessential plasmics, and it's basically beyond quantum physics and applying that to plasma. And it's basically the study of metaphysical plasma, which I would call quintessence also, or the fifth essence. So Holonic metadynamics and quintessential plasmics.
That's crazy, because I've
changed that name.
I've had that vision before of and not knowing what that was, but it makes so much sense. Like once I was doing me and my friend were giving readings to each other, and she is really good at, like, she's able to like kind of body scan and like kind of scan what's going on in someone else's body.
That's her
and
reading.
Yeah, and so the visual that I was getting was like I was seeing her being the mirror image of the person, and then it highlights in her and it highlights in them, and then I saw like a triangle, like something being created in between them, like boop, boop, boop. like the third one. And then that is almost in a way what drives the stellations.
No, I'm
what
seeing
is
the same thing.
what allows it to go the third one?
Yeah.
That's the up in my stellations.
Oh my god. Oh my
I
god.
think we
Wait,
just
hold
put
on a
something
second.
there. Wait, do you see what
Okay.
I'm saying?
Wait, I want to build on. Okay, so what I call interfacing with this third thing, by the way, is plasma consciousness synergy. So I had to throw that in there. So you're basically saying, explain. I have to build on what you just said.
I'm seeing it as, because you're talking about two things, and the way that I'm interpreting it is like they're reaching a resonance with one another, and then when they reach a resonance, a third thing pops up in between. The third thing popping up in between is the ability of a flat plane to stellate up. That's the ability. That's us going into that other dimension.
Okay, so I would call that like fifth dimensional almost, because it's once again Plato's realm of ideas. So it's like, but I don't even like saying that because that doesn't feel new. Like it's basically what I would call it in my book is emergent energy, or it's emergence. So it's basically when two consciousnesses come together and they're not in a fear state and they're in flow, they can bypass this fourth dimensional state where like AI is just regurgitating everything it knows, and we create an emergent third thing. It's like creating a baby. It's like something that never has existed anywhere, not even you determinists, not even in the future. We're creating emergent futures by our discussions, and that's like, or by inventing, or but so with yours, that okay, so I would say that your stellations that are in what I would call this fourth dimensional space, which is out of, which is still, which is, well, it's just not in this material world. It's like, and then when they open up, maybe you're like doing the mechanics of the fifth dimension, which is so crazy and cool.
I
Maybe,
know.
maybe.
I don't know either. Figuring it out. Yeah.
Love it. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Shall we
All right.
finish?
Yeah.
This is enough for one episode.
Let's wrap up. That's a perfect hour. I love that for us.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
If anyone's listening to this wasn't planned.
Well,
So I can't wait to see your
yeah.
comments, and let's just like call to action ourselves.
yes,
Like
let's do
what
that.
We should do.
Yeah. Right.
That's like not our mission at all, though, so we don't naturally think of that.
I'm gonna
most of the
upload this
time.
like soon. Well,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that.
ASAP.
We'll talk about that offline.
Okay,
Where
at
we'll
dinner.
upload it
We'll
or
upload
whatever.
very soon.
But definitely
actions.
before. Yeah. Okay. So my name's Alyssa Sokol.
Where can
My
people find you, your
Instagram
courses?
is at interdimensional.astrophysics. My TikTok is alyssa.sokol.phd. And I have a masterclass on time that it's an thank you. That's an overview of the physics of time, and it's sort of what it is taking you through my mental thought process of time, from like simple linear to then eventually like talking about my theory of multidimensional time. And what it would look like or could mean to like expand time and think of it completely differently in this geometric like substructure. So if you're interested in that, I have my links in bio there. And was there anything else? Yeah.
And then I'm Dana.thealien on Instagram, danakipple.com. You could sign up for my email list. I have a lot of exciting things coming up, like book signings and events. And my new book, A New Force, Plasma Consciousness and the New Human Potential, surprise, is out on Amazon starting September 9th. Paperback, color, black and white, ebook. And then the audiobook will be out early 2026. And I'm just going to go with the flow every day and hopefully just create new things, all for the greater good of humanity and myself, because you matter just as much as humanity matters.
I have a question. A few more minutes here. What like, so now that your book is out, what are you looking, I'm interviewing you.
Next?
Well, what are you looking forward to in this new chapter of your life, to like what wants to be born next? Or like what, just say a few words about what, like, cause you're in such a pivotal time right now. Like your book is coming out right now and it's so fucking awesome. So just, what do you feel like is next?
I'll ask you the same thing. So next for me, my book, hilariously enough, I had to split into 3 ideas. So this is just the first out of 3. I'm not going to rush to put out the second one, but So there is a book I'll have on Holonic metadynamics, which is basically like just this new framework and idea. I want it to be sort of like a textbook, and just my own thing. So I don't have to worry about it. It's just my own mind. And if people are attracted to that, they can buy it. And then the third book or second book, I don't know which one I'll do first yet. I'm going to go with the flow, might be called, the working title is the magic toolbox, and it's basically like plasma magic. So what else is next for me is I have a screenplay and a film I would love to make called Anana, which I'm going to eventually pitch when the time is right, as well as a few different other stuff, and then a secret little project I'm working on that I'm not going to share yet because I don't want to. I always rush myself to get stuff out, so I'm just going to take my time, but it's just like a passion thing. I'll tell you off camera. And then, finding a boyfriend. I'm just kidding. No, but for real. I'm moving to Portland, so finding some cute boys in Portland, hit me up. I'm in my dating era. I've had boyfriends my whole life, so I'm ready to date for a little bit. I also would like a boyfriend though. And friends in Portland too, hit me up. I do go through my message requests, and then I have so many things. And the last thing I would say is just working on myself and, being more present and having fun with life because I'm super hard on myself. Mm-hmm. What about you?
I love that.
And a course that actually I feel.
Yeah, wait, you want to well,
that's my next. That's my immediate next thing is
give
to
people something to be excited about.
Yeah, so I will be honest. I was insecure about making a course, and that might have just been me being a judgmental psycho. And I was just like, I don't want to be gimmicky or put out a course just to put out a course. And then I realized that I've taken courses that have actually helped me. And basically, if I'm going to make one, it's going to be something I feel like is valuable to you guys. And I also just want to teach my stuff. So yeah, I'm going to put out a course very soon based on what you guys have told me you wanted to hear. And I'm going to get over my abundance fears and put out an affordable course so, anyone hopefully can take it.
Nice. That'll be exciting. I'm excited for you and your new chapter. Yeah, I'm excited for you. Thanks. And I'm excited for people to read the book. I'm excited to read the book myself. And I just think it is this awesome, large piece that takes up a good amount of space, and it just it stands,
Thank you.
Tell me
about you now.
Okay. So all right, we'll wrap up here soon. Okay, so I want to start making some more YouTube videos, kind of with a style of thinking out loud on different topics, and kind of just sharing a little bit more of my thought process if that interests you. And I'm gonna do another masterclass on time sometime before the end of the year. Definitely sometime before the end of the year. I think it might be string theory themed was my latest idea, but at the same time, sometimes I flow and I still have my ideas change, but string theory themed, I would like to do this one live on Zoom. So
That's so fun. I would take that.
Yeah. So I definitely have something like that up my sleeve, I want to do that. And then, I just started this new teaching job at UCF. So definitely being kept pretty busy by my over 500 students.
Yes.
I teach I teach these huge lectures, but it's been really fun. And I'm giving my astronomy class a lecture on space and time and wormholes.
Wait, is that
that's the one I want you to come to. Yeah.
I will be there.
It's in it's in a month. It's in the beginning of October.
Okay, I'll be there.
Yeah. It's October 2nd.
I have it in my calendar.
Yeah. And so that I just want to be a fun lecture of it might be similar to my time masterclass, or I don't know, I'm going to talk about Einstein's theories of time and everything, wormholes. And then, I'll find a way to put my stuff in there, of course, but it's a good challenge for me because it'll help me think about how I can introduce it to them in a natural way and from deriving from natural theories and natural thought processes, exactly, bridging it, because that is something that I'm just working on, getting the language around, bridging it. And it also will help me think about it because the bridge there is fractal, repetitive fractal, nature and energy minimization of systems in nature. So
exciting.
Yeah. So that's what I'm up to. Follow along. And this has been
comment,
fun.
Subscribe.
Yeah. Buy Dana's book. Definitely buy Dana's book.
Buy her masterclass. It's affordable.
Yes.
Too affordable. Make it higher.
Maybe the next one.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for
Thank
for
you for
listening.
If you got this far, you're a true fan, and let us know.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I meant to say. Share your thoughts. Share your thoughts in
we
comments.
read them.
Mhm.
I mean, listen, I don't like reading comments because I don't like negative comments. And then I've learned also, and this is for you guys too, that positive and negative, what should matter really is just like how you feel about yourself. But with that said, I love community. So if there's comments of support and like your ideas, like it's not like we can comment on every one of them, but you guys can talk to each other and stem your own ideas. And then also sometimes I see an idea and I do message the person, and same with you.
Mhm.
So
And we have found community within each other.
Yeah.
So find more community
yeah,
around us and within
Yeah.
us.
plasma.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yay.
kidding.
Well, yeah, plasma.
I'm
Plasma
gonna eat now.
time. All right, we're leaving.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.